Good morning, student. Let's discuss our fourth unit, physical education and sports for children with special needs, that is the Divyang. Concept of disability. Disability is an impairment that may be cognitive, development, intellectual, mental, physical, sensory, or some combinations of this. It substantially affects a person's life activity and may be present from birth or occurs during a person's lifetime. So, disability is a disturbance. Disability is a disturbance that affects a person's day-to-day life activity, and it may be present in an individual's from birth, or it can occurs during one's lifetime, and disability generally has no cure. For example, eye disability. Eye disability means he can't see, he is completely blind. And eye disorder means eye disorder means due to eye weakness he is not able to see, and if and it can be cured if there is a proper treatment. If we take a proper treatment, then it can be cured. Okay, disability is a disadvantage that affect his day-to-day activity, and disability can't be cured. And disorders disorders is a problems or illness which affects someone's mind or body. And disorders is defined as the state of confusions or mental or physical problems that interrupt normal functioning. Means disorders it's a problems or illness that disturb the individual functioning. Okay, disorders it's a disturbance affect a person's day-to-day activity, and it is usually disorders is usually used for mental disability. Usually use disorders mainly affect mind. Disorders create disturbance in an individual to perform his day-to-day activity and reduce his efficiency. In the beginning, the disorders seems to be ordinary, but it usually grow and spread in an harmful manners the if the care is not taken. So, a disorders, if not used, can cause disability. Simply, the difference between disability and disorders is disability it's a disadvantage that disturb day-to-day activity, and disorders is a disturbance that affect day-to-day activity. And disability can't be cured, and disorders can be cured. And disability is mainly linked with body part, and disorders is mainly linked with mental problems. There is no chance of becoming normals, often concerned with various body parts, and disorders there is high chance of becoming normals, and it is mainly concerned with the mental ability. For examples, eye disability means complete blindness, is completely blindness, and it can't be cured. And eye disorder means there is a eye weakness. Due to eye weakness is not able to see, and if we take a proper care and treatment, then it can be cured. This is the difference between disability and disorders. Types of disability. There are three types of disability: physical impairment, cognitive physical disability, cognitive disability, and Intellectual disability, mobility or physical impairment, means it is generally related to physical disadvantage in which an individual is not able to perform his day-to-day activity. Okay, physical impairment means related to physical disadvantage due to which the person is not able to do his day-to-day activity, that is like not able to see, listens, move or any other things. Disability is physical functioning disturbance, disability in physical functioning, like not able to see, listens, move or any other things due to blindness, deafness, muscular deformity, etc. And this physical impairment may occurs at birth or after the birth due to accidents or some others cause. The cause are illness, accidents, malnutrition, etc. Next is cognitive disability. Cognitive disability, cognitive or learning disability. The cognitive disability is mainly related to neurological disorders. Neurological disorders means the nervous system. um, Neurological disorders in which the nervous systems create hindrance in an individual to store, process and produce the information. The mind is not able to store the informations, process and produce the information. Difficulty, therefore the persons face difficulty in reading, writing and speaking. Examples: if he is learning something, he has problem in storing, processing and producing the informations. This is cognitive disability. His complex network of nervous his network of nervous and cells that carry the message to and from the brain and spinal cord of the various body part is not functions properly. This is cognitive disability. Main the simple things is that you are not able to think, produce um, informations. Your mind is not able to store, process or produce the information. Therefore you face difficulty in reading, writing, speaking, etc. Next is intellectual disability. Intellectual disability is related to intellectuals and developmental disability. Okay, intellectual disability is mainly related to intellectuals, your IQ levels and developmental disorders, that your your IQ levels, your intelligence is not properly developed. So the persons face difficulty in intellectual disability. Persons feel problems with general mental ability that affect the functioning in two areas, that is intellectual functioning, like he face problem in learning, processing, uh, learning, problem solving and judgment. His intellectual functioning is not work properly, therefore he face problems in learning, problem solving and doing various judgment. And next is adaptive functioning. Adaptive functioning is not able to adjust, like to do his daily activity. He is not able to do his daily activities such as communications problem, independence living, etc. Means communications problems, learning problems, problem solving, judgment, etc. These are the problems of intellectual disability due to undevelopment of IQ levels. His IQ level is not developed. These are the three three types of disability. Disability is a disadvantage. Disability is a disadvantage that affect a person to do his day-to-day activity. And there are three types of disability: physical disability, cognitive disability, and intellectual disability. Physical disability means physical disability means due to physical disadvantage, the person is not able to perform his daily activity. Means due to physical functioning not to do his day-to-day activity, like blindness, his muscle is not work properly, not able to walk, sit, musculoskeletal, circulatory, respiratory, nervous system, etc. Cognitive disability means in which cognitive disability is mainly related to neuromuscular disorders. Therefore, the person is not able to store, process, or produce the information. Therefore, he will face difficulty in reading, writing, speaking, etc. Intellectual disability means it is related to IQ levels. His IQ levels is not developed properly. It is intellectual and developmental disability. Therefore, he faces difficulty in thought process, learning, communications, remembering. Is not able to remember and not able to use it appropriately. Is not able to make a proper judgment, not able to problem solve, etc. These are the types of disability. Cause of disability. What are the cause of disability? The cause of disability vary. As a person's age, the severity of disability can change. Disability may be genetically determined, environmentally determined, or of unknown cause. Genetically determines means due to genetics. Genes in genetically determine the genes are responsible for the disability. Abnormal genes to the problem leads to the problem of this disability. This disability is environmental disability. Environmentally determined. Mm, it is environmental data. It is due to the accidents, injury, disease, or infections. Examples: brain injury, spinal cord injury, diabetes, etc. Okay, genetically determines is due to genes. uh, in genetically genetically the genes is responsible for the disability, and it is inherited from the parents. And environmental is result from the accident, injury, disease, or any infections. And unknown cause, that some cause of disability are cancer. Cancer is the fast growing that cause disability. Due to cancers, it may leads to disability, and once the cancer happen, it can't be cured. Heart attack, heart disease, and heart disease and heart stroke, and people live with heart disease for years or decade. It can severely limit their ability to work. Diabetes means sugar. It is a majority of long-term disability. In diabetes is rising fast along with obesity. It is linked with number of serious health problems. Musculoskeletal diabetes means related to back pain, injury, arthritis, etc. Musculoskeletal means disability to the muscles and skeletal systems, like back pain, injury, arthritis. Arthritis is probably the biggest single cause of back pain, spinal problems, and disease. Disease are one of the major cause of disability in human are disease. Disease disease affect the normal functioning of the body, and this disability like deafness, lack of coordinations, blindness, etc. These are the disease. Malnutrition, due to malnutrition, balanced diet, not taking the proper balanced diet. If there is a malnutrition, it may lead to disability. War war means taking the poisons or dangerous weapons cause disability. Pesticide, pesticides can pesticides and many others poisonous are in great use today. Pesticide means using of poisonous chemicals. It is used many peoples with disability. Accident, an accident is also the cause of disability. Many times due to accidents, the person's ability are lost and affect the normal functioning of the individuals. Heredity is from parents to the next generation. Heredity is also the one cause of disability. These are the cause of disability. Type of disorders. There are different types of disorders like attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, sensory processing disorders, autism spectrum disorders, oppositional defiant disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, etc. Let's discuss about types of disorders. First is attention deficit hyperactivity disorders. In these disorders, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, it is a brain disorders marked by an ongoing patterns of inattentions or hyperactivity, impulsivity that interfere with functioning or developmentals. Attentions deficit hyperactive disorders, it's a mental disorders of the neurodevelopment mental type. The person is not able to pay attentions. In attention deficit, the person is not able to pay attentions. Attention deficit hyperactivity is of three types, that is uh, inattentions, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. These are the three types of attention deficit hyperactive disorders. Inattentions means when a person's wonders of tasks lack persistence or has difficulty sustaining focus. He is not able to pay attention. He is not able to pay attention, trouble in sitting even for a short time. He is not able to pay attention even for a short time. Next is hyperactivity. Hyperactivity means the state of being unusually or unabnormally active. Okay, hyperactivity means unusually or abnormally active. Therefore, people who are hyperactivities may develop problems to their inability to stay or still concentrate. Okay, the peoples who are hyperactivity may develop other problem due to their inability to stay still or concentrate. Next is impulse impulsivity. Impulsivity means the persons make a hasty actions that occurs in the moment without the first thinking about them. Okay, without thinking doing the hasty movement. Symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorders like like not able to pay attentions, excessive activity, difficulty in controlling the activity. These all are the symptoms. Cause of attention deficit hyperactive disorders is genetic factors or genetics factors. Brain injury, when the baby brain is damaged before or after the birth. Low birth weight, if if the bird if the child has low birth weight or are more likely to be develop attention deficit hyperactivity, trauma or brain injury, not taking proper diet, etc. These are the cause. And treatment, how you can manage: by counseling, behavior therapy, changing the lifestyle, medical treatment, meditations, etc. These all are the management for attention deficit hyperactivity disorders. Next is sensory processing disorders. Sensory processing disorders, it's a condition in which the brain has troubles in receiving and responding the information that come in through the sense. Okay? Sensory processing disorder means your senses not work properly. Therefore, the person has problems in receiving and responding the informations that come in through the sense. It refers the way that the nervous system receives the message from the sense and then turn them into the proper motors and behavior response. In sensory processing disorders, the sense the sense organs are affected. Therefore, the person will not feel anything like touch, sight, taste, or movement. It affects the sense organs. Symptoms of sensory processing disorders. Symptoms like sensory processing disorders may affect one sense like hearing, touch, taste. He will not feel any hearing, touch, taste. Therefore, he is unable to respond to that things. If he not get any information, then he will not respond to that information. Cause of sensory processing disorders: genetic factors, low birth weight, environmental factors, drugs, brain injury, etc. These are the cause. And management, treatment, by changing the lifestyle, therapy, meditations, etc. Next is autism spectrum disorders. Autism spectrum disorders. It is a autism spectrum disorders is the name for the group of developmental disorders. Autism spectrum disorders is a developmental disorders um, in which the persons face difficulty in communicating, language problems, social skill and behaviors. Okay, autism spectrum disorders. Autism spectrum disorders is a developmental disorders in which mainly the young children's with autism spectrum disorders face the difficulty with communications, language, social skills and behaviors. And autism spectrum development is characterized by social interactions difficulty. He will face difficulty in interacting with the others peoples. Communication challenge, difficulty in communicating, and tendency to engage in a repetitive behaviors. Symptoms Symptoms are do not socialize. He prefer to live alone, prefer to be alone, feel difficulty in expressing his emotion, etc. And the cause of autism spectrum disorders are genetic factors, physical factors, psychological factors, etc. And management, how you can treat by changing the behaviors, that is behavior therapy, doing physical activity, meditations, or consulting with the doctors, proper health care, etc. Next is oppositional defined disorders. Oppositional defined disorders, it's a condition in which the child display an ongoing patterns of an angry, irritable mood, defined or argumentative behaviors, and argumentative behaviors. The child behaviors often disturb the child normal daily activity, including activity within the family and at the school. Oppositional defined disorders, the children with disorders always tend to disturb themselves as well as those peoples around him. He is always fightings, blaming others, frequent frustration, failures to think before speaking. He will not think, feeling of angry, etc. Symptoms symptoms of oppositional defined disorders are actively refuse comply, means actively refuse with majority requests or consecutive suppose. He will refuse to obey the guidelines, angry, argue with others, blaming the others, making lot of mistake, frequently lose tempers. His temper will be high, seek revenge. He want to take a revenge from the others, easily annoyed, etc. These all are the symptoms. And cause are genetic factors, biological, psychological factors, injury, abnormal frequency, neuromuscular transmissions, family problems, etc. And treatment, management, management by individual psychology, family therapy, counseling, social skill, medical care, meditations, etc. Next is obsessive compulsive disorders. Obsessive compulsive disorders, it is a mental disorders in which the people feel the needs of checking repeatedly, perform certain routine repeatedly, or have certain thought repeatedly. Means it is a type of mental disorders that create unwanted thought. There is unwanted thought in an individual. Therefore, to get rid of the thought, the person do the same things again and again, like uh, like counting the things, checking checking to see if the door is locked or not, etc. Some may have difficulty throwing the things out. Okay, obsessive compulsive disorders is a mental disorders in which unwanted thought, in which uh, there is a unwanted thought. Therefore, to get a rid from this unwanted thought, the persons do the same thing again and again. The symptoms, treatment, The treatment is by taking counseling, physiological therapy, changing the lifestyles, etc.